Presenting the foreclosure deal contract. Please note that this is a generic residential purchase contract. There is a voiceover available that reads the contract word for word and section by section. You being an investor means we are taking it for granted that you have seen an offer to purchase contract agreement before and have used them in the past, therefore are relatively familiar with it. In the following voiceover presenting the foreclosure deal contract, we will only be covering the sections with the appropriate blanks that have been filled in. Welcome to the voiceover for the foreclosure deal contract allowing you to obtain homes well below market value. Presenting the foreclosure deal offer to purchase. We will begin from the top of page 1 of the offer to purchase, where it states who is the buyer and who is the seller. The seller, who appears as seller on this offer to purchase contract, is the foreclosure wholesale consulting firm who is a member of the Real Estate Council of Canada's accredited program. Please note that all members are required to use contracts to buy and sell houses. This is why the consulting firm appears as the seller on the contract. The foreclosure wholesale consulting firm would have purchased the home at a lower price to sell it to you for a slight profit. These foreclosure wholesale consultants are happy making anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 for locating and purchasing the home well below market value. The foreclosure wholesale consulting firm's profit has already been applied within the offer. Therefore, their service is truly a free service. The buyer. This is you. Please make sure your name is spelled correctly. Section 1.1. The address. This is the address of the home you are purchasing. Please make sure the municipal address is correct. Section 1.2. The legal description. The legal description of the property is not required at this point. It will be needed only when the deal is accepted. The legal description, plan, lot, and block, is the seller's responsibility and can easily be found at your local registry. Section 1.3. No attached goods and no unattached goods except for. This is where you would put items such as kitchen appliances, washer and dryers, any items that you expect to be included with the purchase and is not a fixture of the home. Section 1.4. All attached goods except for. This is where the seller would put anything they were planning on taking that was attached to the home, such as fixtures. For example, if the seller wanted to take the kitchen sink or chandelier, they would have to list it here in section 1.4. The transaction. Section 2.2. Initial deposit. Please note the deposit in general is $10,000 on foreclosure deals. The deposit allows the seller to take the home off the market with confidence while you are arranging financing via private lender. The initial deposit is fully refundable if you are not approved for financing. Additional deposit. This would be the balance of the down payment needed to purchase the home. The initial deposit plus the additional deposit equals the total down payment which is being used to purchase the home. The full amount of the agreed down payment must be paid to the seller before you, the buyer, are placed on title as the new owner. New financing. This is the amount you need to borrow to complete the deal via private lender. Please note that these foreclosure deals are only available with private lender via exclusive financer. Private lenders do not register mortgage debt with the credit bureau. Therefore, your bank financing can still be used on another type of deal to continue making good deals in real estate. Purchase price. This is the official purchase price once the contract is signed and accepted. Prior to it being signed and accepted, it is just an offer. This is where you would change the purchase price amount should you wish to negotiate. Do not worry about making adjustments on the other lines. It will all be adjusted accordingly. In general, a positive monthly cash flow and the final purchase price is the most important thing to real estate investors. As an example, when purchasing a home $60,000 below market value, it instantly creates an increase of $60,000 net worth, which is reflected on the buyer's balance sheet. This allows for the buyer's borrowing capacity to increase, which allows for purchasing more real estate. In the beginning of any negotiations, focus on what price you are willing to purchase the home for, the monthly payment of your new mortgage, and market monthly rent for your new revenue property. This will easily allow you to calculate your monthly positive cash flow. Once these major objectives are agreed upon, the minor objectives in the negotiations will easily fall into place. Section 3.1. All deposits shall be delivered in trust to a numbered company and controlled by the financier. The financier will be holding the deposit. Initial deposits are refundable if you are not able to obtain financing. The additional deposit is only collected when you are approved by the lender and the financing condition is waived. At this point in time, you will be officially placed on title as the new owner. Why does the financer hold the deposit? In order to obtain great deals in foreclosure while securing funds for future deals, private financing is a must. Please keep in mind, when the foreclosure wholesale consultant firm, who appears as the seller on this contract, bought the home, they made an agreement with the private financer that all deposits are to be held in trust by the financer. In conventional real estate dealings, the deposits are given to the seller, who then forwards it to the lender or lender's agent, together with the mortgage funds to pay out encumbrances on title. In a private real estate deal, allowing an individual who is experiencing foreclosure to hold the deposit is never a good idea. Therefore, forwarding deposits straight to your lender, who requires it to pay off all encumbrances to complete conveyancing, is the safest way to go. In any real estate transaction, the lender or lender's agent always collects deposits and, together with the mortgage funds you are borrowing, pays out all encumbrances on title. This, by definition, is conveyancing. Please note that the lawyers charge private lenders $5,000 to $15,000 to simply transfer the private mortgage funds from their account. Without eliminating these unnecessary expenses, building wealth in real estate could never be accomplished. Therefore, any deposits given to the seller will be directed to the financer to be held in trust. Section 3.3. Additional deposits. All additional deposits shall be delivered in trust to the same numbered company as the initial deposit. The additional deposit is only collected when you are approved by the lender and the financing condition is waived. When all additional deposits are paid, you would be placed on title as the official new owner of the property. Please note that later in this contract, it states clearly in Section 8.1e, the buyer agrees to allow the financer to complete the conveyance only if the mortgage has a condition stating the buyer will be placed on title and the first mortgage payment is not due until the conveyance is complete. Conveyancing being complete is defined as the following. Once every encumbrance holder has provided proof of ownership and funds are forwarded to the rightful owner of the encumbrance/debt, conveyancing is then considered complete. Now that you are on title as the new owner and the mortgage documents you signed are registered on title, you are entitled to collect rent lawfully with integrity via contract law. The result is 100% positive monthly cash flow for 6 to 18 months. Example, if the monthly rent was $1,750 and you signed a contract with your lender which stated that the mortgage payment is not due until conveyancing is complete, then you would be collecting $1,750 at the end of each month without having to pay a mortgage payment until the conveyancing is complete. Please make sure when signing the mortgage documents that it states clearly you do not have a mortgage payment until the conveyancing is complete. To help you reassure this happens, when mortgage documents are sent to you, it will be accompanied by a voiceover reiterating what section in the mortgage document states. The private lender agrees there will be no monthly mortgage payments due until conveyancing is complete. This allows you, while conveyancing is being completed, to collect the rent and create 100% monthly cash flow lawfully with integrity via contract law. Closing. Section 4.1. The closing day is the date in which transfer of title is complete with all down payments paid in full and the mortgage documents you signed are registered on title. You can see now that the mortgage papers you signed plus your full down payment equals payment of the home. At this point, the private lender would be simply requesting for all encumbrance holders to provide proof of ownership of the appropriate debt. The private lender then forwards the funds to the rightful owner of the encumbrance/debt in exchange for proof of ownership. Once every encumbrance holder has provided proof of ownership and the funds are forwarded to the rightful owner of the encumbrance/debt, conveyance is then considered complete. The longer conveyancing takes, the better for you. Conveyancing can take 6 to 18 months to complete. But keep in mind, the longer it takes, the more positive monthly income is collected by you. If the rent is $1,750 per month and it takes 6 to 18 months to complete conveyance, you would stand to collect $10,500. If conveyancing only takes 6 months, that would be 6 months times $1,750. But if it takes 18 months, you would collect $31,500. This would be 18 months times $1,750 before making your first mortgage payment. Coupled with the fact that you are purchasing the home well below market value due to allowing the previous owners to stay as tenants makes a great deal. Now that you are on title as the new owner and the mortgage documents you signed are registered on title, you are entitled to collect rent. Please make sure to be assured the private lender has signed an agreement stating you do not have a mortgage payment until conveyance is complete. This allows you to collect the rent without a mortgage payment lawfully with integrity via contract law. The closing date is the day your 100% cash flow begins. Page 3. please go down to Section 7.6. Section 7.6. Additional Term of Sale. In Section 7.6, you will find this condition. Closing date will be adjusted to 3 days after financing condition has been waived. The reason for this additional term is that foreclosures are time sensitive. Waiting for 6-week closing dates don't work well due to ongoing lawyer fees and per diem charges, interest per day, on foreclosure properties. Once the home is officially sold and you, the new owner, is on title and mortgage documents you signed are registered against title, the financer will officially put in the request for proof of ownership of all encumbrances and debts listed on title. This stops all future charges on the foreclosure file. Reason being, the original owner/defendant in the foreclosure has satisfied all conditions the statement of claim asked of them, which was sell the home or pay out the mortgage. They elected to sell the home to you, therefore satisfying all conditions, in turn placing a halt on all future charges and fees. This gives the previous owner being foreclosed on a huge incentive to get you on title quicker while agreeing to pay you rent. Together with the signed mortgage contract, stating you would have no mortgage payments until conveyancing is complete is what allows you to obtain the 100% cash flow. Section 8.1a. With private lenders, financing condition dates appearing on the offer to purchase contracts are typically set 3 to 6 weeks into the future. To get you on title as soon as possible and obtaining 100% monthly cash flow depends on when you are approved and the private lender waives the finance condition. Most likely, you will be approved by the lender before the 3 to 6 week condition date. Once the approval is complete, the private lender will be waiving the finance condition and the adjustments will be made accordingly. For example, you signed and accepted the contract on May 28, 2014, and the financing condition is June 23, 2014. 13 days go by, and you are approved for financing on June 10, 2014. When the private lender waives the financing condition the same day, how does this affect the closing date? Answer: due to Section 7.6, where it states, closing date will be adjusted to 3 days after financing condition has been waived. Means the closing date would be adjusted to June 13, 2014, because it is 3 days after financing condition has been waived. This would be the date you would need to pay the additional deposits, the mortgage documents you signed registered against title, and you will be placed on title as the official new owner. Section 8.1e. Additional buyer's conditions. Please note, the following 2 additional buyer conditions is what allows you to collect 100% monthly cash flow lawfully with integrity via contract law. It states that 1. The financer, the private lender, and buyer will be requesting to view proof of ownership of all encumbrances and debt registered against title in order to forward the funds to the rightful owners of the encumbrances/debt. Number 2. The buyer agrees to allow the private lender to complete the conveyance only if the mortgage has a condition stating the buyer is placed on title and the first mortgage payment is not due until the conveyance is complete. Conveyancing being complete is defined as the following. Once every encumbrance holder has provided proof of ownership and the funds are forwarded to the rightful owner of the encumbrance/debt, conveyancing is then considered complete. The above two additional buyer conditions is what allows for the 100% monthly cash flow to be collected lawfully with integrity via contract law. This can take 6 to 18 months to complete, but the longer it takes, the better for you. If the rent was $17.50 a month and it takes 6 to 18 months to complete conveyance, then you stand to collect $10,500 to $31,500 before making your first mortgage payment. When subtracting that from your down payment, it creates a low down deal. Coupled with the fact that you are purchasing the home well below market value due to allowing the previous owner to stay as tenants, what a great deal! Why is requesting proof of ownership of the debt so important? No private lender would lend money unless all parties agree to view proof of ownership of all encumbrances against title. The reason being is that encumbrances such as debt/mortgages registered on title are bought and sold every day. When transferring hundreds of thousands of dollars as a private lender, it is obviously important the funds are transferred to the right entity. By definition, the rightful owner of an encumbrance/debt would be who can show proof of ownership of the encumbrance/debt registered on title. Would you hand over hundreds of thousands of dollars as a lender without making sure you are giving it to the right entity? Of course you would not. Section 8.2. The buyer respects all agreements sold with this revenue property. Please keep in mind, the reason you're obtaining these foreclosure homes well below market value is by allowing the previous owners to stay in the home. All contracts such as buybacks and rentbacks must be respected. If there is a breach of contract by the other party, you may do what you wish with the home. Until then, you must respect the agreement sold with this revenue property. Page 5. Section 12.2. These are private deals. To build wealth in real estate, it is a must to minimize your expenses. Using commission agents takes large bites out of your profits. Therefore, the below information is non-applicable since there are no agents included in this private deal. The buyer's information is not required due to the fact that it is not pertinent information to the seller. It will be required from the financer at a later date. Section 13.2. Please note that 13.2 states, this offer/counteroffer shall be open for acceptance in writing until. This is where you would put the date of when your counteroffer expires. Section 14.1. Acceptance. If you are accepting the terms and conditions of the contract, simply move on to signing the acceptance. Section 15.1. Conveyancing. To build wealth in real estate, it is a must to minimize unnecessary expenses. Please note, the only function of a lawyer in conventional real estate dealings is to complete the conveyance. Buyers' lawyers' conveyance fees average $1,500 to $3,000 to simply execute the land title's office generic paperwork on behalf of the buyer and lender. Considering the private lender is investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into this deal, it is pertinent you get on title as the official owner to secure their funds. Therefore, the private lender will be completing the conveyancing free of charge on your behalf to ensure it is being done correctly. In this contract, we have agreed to allow the private lender to complete the conveyance. Therefore, neither party will require a lawyer to complete conveyance. Minimizing unnecessary expenses, such as lawyer fees and realtor commissions, is necessary when building wealth in real estate. Satori Investment Solutions, Inc., a proud member of the Real Estate Council of Canada's accredited program.